PPs, it's episode 21. Welcome back. We are back in the studios, and we have our producer for this episode, Aaron Bitenheist. No Deans, unfortunately. He's working at the Hungry Howies. Aaron, you know I forgot what radio station it was, so I need you to tell me which studio we are in right now.
Hey, you know I got you. We are currently sitting in WTHS Holland Studios here in the lovely Hope College in the Martha Miller Center. Of course, I'm Aaron Bitenheist. And one thing I forgot to do last show was give you guys a bit of a, plug to my own radio show, because the reason we use this is because I work for the Hope radio station here, and you can catch me every Sunday night at 9 p.m. playing all of the alternative jams that you know that you want to hear, even though you don't know who they're by, because no one knows the artists that I play, but it's still fun. So
if you're somehow listening to this, which is impossible, the show starts in T-minus
11 minutes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 10 or 11. So I won't be here very long, but I'm honored to be back as a now recurring guest on the Prattle. So thanks to the guys.
Most definitely, Aaron. We really appreciate the studio. Obviously, when you guys listen to episode 20 in this episode, you will understand that our sound quality is just so much better when we are in the studio. So thanks to you, and thanks to Hope College for letting us, even if they don't know that we're here, for letting us record. But guys, we got to start off the show with what we start off every show with, and it's a Church League softball update. Pop, what happened this week? How did we do this week?
No, TCB, we did all right.
Right.
We tied.
Yeah.
13-13. It was a hard-fought game to the end. It was the first real competition. It was lots of fun.
It was.
Personally, I did terrible. I hit the gym, did a little chest, and I was sore, and I could not swing the bat very well.
Right.
Went 2 for 4, 2 singles. I think I had an RBI, but not enough to get the dub.
Right. Westman, how'd you do?
Well, Alan, I just want to point out that it's a team game,
right.
So we don't need to hear about your stats.
As Wes was about to tell you about his stats.
But I just want to follow up on our over-under from last week. The over-under was, I believe, over-under 2 home runs
right.
in our game. But this is interesting because Matt Brown, of course, hit one over the fence, pretty far over the fence. But also, I hit an inside the Parker.
Ooh.
So does that count?
Listen, for me, it counts. Aaron, did you came up with the over-under. You be the judge.
I'll say it counts because I also went over that, so I feel like going even makes me feel better about myself than having it just be the one. So I trust the team, but I think Toby wants to give a little update on how he did at the at the game.
Really? Okay. Well, guys, I had an up and down game. Okay, I had an up and down game. Pastor Clint has me at second base. Let me tell you, that turn at second base is tough for a lefty.
We had a double play.
We did. We did, and that was part of the ups. That was a sick play, and then we had another one to get us out of that inning. I threw it in the ground. I thought maybe our first baseman maybe should have made the play.
Yeah, Matt, if you're listening,
maybe should have made the play.
Scoops,
right, but bases loaded. Bottom of our last inning, it's 13-13. All I have to do is get the ball in play.
Yeah, one out.
One out. Little double back to the pitcher.
All you had to do.
All I had to do was
advance the guy from
anywhere.
He didn't even have to achieve base.
I didn't even have to get on base.
It would have been a swinging bunt to the first baseman.
I know. I mean, and oh my gosh, I was so mad at myself. I literally was so mad after the game. But so here we are last week, right? We're talking big. We're like, okay, we're moving up.
On top of the world.
Right, and we're still moving up.
We are still moving up.
Right, but then we go ahead and we tie after winning by like a combined 40 runs the first 2 games.
So PPs, what we're prefacing here is this could be the beginning of the end of our reign of terror in softball.
Right.
So our third game, we run into some stiff competition and we end up tying. And now we just decide to go up to the A-League.
Right.
So I wonder how that's going to go.
Right.
Hey, we're still undefeated. Let's not forget that.
That's right.
We are still undefeated. We have a high five culture when we play every Thursday, and it brings the energy up.
It does.
Everything Wes talked about, a study found how there's a, what was it again, Wes?
There's a correlation. There was a study done, I believe, around 2009. There's a correlation between the number of high fives and the number of wins. So I think some of the study looked into the Celtics back then, and they found out that the teams that high five each other more, encourage each other, their culture creates a winning atmosphere. And so I just try to get everybody high fiving.
Yeah.
And shout out Tyler Waterway. He helps a lot with that as well.
Right. Now, does that study factor in the circle of high fives? Because I think that's our secret weapon.
Yes. Well, before every game, we get in a circle and we just high five each other as many times as we can. Just rapid, just.
Right. And that's my favorite part. I don't even need to play at that point. High five culture has been established. And we're all good.
Maybe it's better if you don't play.
Huh. All right.
Sheesh, Wes.
That's right. Listen, I don't even want to talk anymore about softball on that note. And we're going to do something now that we're stepping into. We don't venture into these waters often. We're going to talk a little NHL. That's the National Hockey League. Some Chell. I don't even play Chell, so I know next to nothing about the NHL. However, I do know that the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the expansion team, they're heading to the NHL Finals after winning in their conference finals in 5 games. They just won 2-1 earlier today. Aaron, I know you were a little bit heated about this, being more of an NHL guy than I am, and you think it's unfair that these expansion teams are so good. I want to hear your take on this, Aaron.
Yeah, so I mean, before I quick hop out of here, I just want to say that I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you can have a team that gets formed in less than a year, thrown together, throw them out on the ice, and they end up being in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the thing is most of the expansion teams that have come in post-2000 have all been good teams, right? And so it's just like you keep on plugging in these teams that are, upper tier, upper echelon, competing, and that's great for the sport, right? Because you are getting in new teams and new faces, and you're hitting new markets. But for all the other teams that have been struggling for the past, 10 or 15 years, like the Colorado Avalanche or the, the Wolves? Who's that? Shoot, I'm blanking on these. It's Predators. No, not the Predators. It's the Wolves. Whatever. I'm blanking, but it's all right. Yeah. But you're having these perennial teams that cannot seem to get a winning record even put together, and then they're sitting there and watching teams like the Las Vegas Golden Knights all of a sudden head up into the NHL Finals, the Stanley Cup, and they've been around for less than a year. I just think it's ridiculous. Why? Why does just because you have money and you're coming to the sport late, are you suddenly given this free pass to be a perennial contender in the NHL? I think it's ridiculous, and they need to change the way they do the protection lists for teams, and the fact that you're guaranteed to get a good team coming through when you do the player draft with all the already established teams. I think it's ridiculous. And on that note, I'm gonna have to head out pee. So it was an honor.
Well, that was a fabulous rant, and I really appreciate you coming in here and supporting our hockey takes, because we do need that. We're not big hockey guys,
right?
But what it sounds like to me, now that he shuts the door, I can talk trash about him. Aaron is a Red Wings fan, and recently the Red Wings streak of playoff appearances came to an end in 2016. So it sounds to me like he's just a bit jealous that the Golden Knights, fresh from just expansion, is making it in the playoffs already.
Right. Wes, I agree, and I did a little bit of research. I'm actually got this pulled up now, and I do not agree with what Aaron is talking about due to the fact that the protected lists are so strict, okay? Clubs, this is what it says. Clubs will have 2 options for players they wish to protect. So you can either protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender. Seems like a lot of players. Or 8 skaters, what they call skaters, which are forwards and defensemen, so any combination of both, and a goalie. So to me, that seems like you've got your 10 or 9 best players that you get to keep. So I just think that the Golden Knights have done something that's incredible. I don't think if every team across the NHL are able to keep their 10 or 9 best players, how are the Golden Knights doing so well?
They're high-fiving each other a lot.
They probably are. They probably are.
I just want to point out that I think it's no coincidence that UCF, national champions, UCF, they're also the Knights and have gold in their uniforms. So Golden Knights,
right.
Knights of UCF. Makes sense that they're both probably going to be champions. I think UCF.
UCF is still your champion, huh?
Yeah, I think UCF has it. I think Vegas is going to have it here soon.
Okay. I just kind of like the idea of expansion teams in any arena. I would love to see it in the NBA. I know a lot of people were saying that they want to see Seattle get a team back because they
That'd be great,
they literally got robbed of a team with the Supersonics. So I just like having more opportunities, more teams. And I would be interested to see how an NBA expansion team would work and if they would do as well as the Golden Knights, because Aaron was saying that their team is so good. I don't think an NBA team would even come close to making the playoffs of an expansion team. So I think what Las Vegas is doing is incredible.
I do like the idea of expansion teams. It obviously reinvigorated some fans to hockey. I mean, I watched the game today at the gym, and I thought, man, that was fun to watch. I mean, I was just kind of watching it, but it was still cool. I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Golden Knights because, I mean, they're kind of an underdog. But if we want to do a throwback segment real quick to Terp Mobs, things that really piss me off that shouldn't piss me off.
Oh, yes.
This expansion team made it so the NHL has 31 teams instead of an even 30 or 32.
Right.
Let me tell you, that just really pisses me off.
It does. But, you know, it should. I feel like it should because I'm a big symmetrical guy. So give me 30 or 32. Pop, does that piss you off?
I mean, it doesn't really matter if they have it all figured out. Like,
right.
Yeah, there's that one oddball out, but is it really going to throw a wrench in the plans?
I feel like they have to have another expansion team soon, right?
I think they definitely have to, or else I'm going to picket the
Right.
NHL wherever their headquarters are.
You're going to
Probably
watch
Canada.
less of the NHL. You're going to watch less than 0 hours.
Negative NHL. Yes.
Right.
But just look across America and the other leagues. It's all even numbers, 32 and 30. I mean, what are you doing, NHL? Maybe this is why you don't have any fans.
I wonder if they have more fans than the MLB.
It might be close.
I think they do. I really think they do. Think about all of Canada.
That's true.
Right.
But you can see the ball in baseball. You can't see the puck in hockey.
Where's it at?
That's why I don't like hockey, because I
Right.
can't keep track.
Right.
Maybe I'm just slow,
Right.
but
You're right.
I don't know.
Bring back the flashing light and I'll watch. On the puck.
Or make it like a flashing puck.
That's what they did.
Wait, did they actually
they did that. I forget when, but they got rid of it real quick.
They
I
should.
think it lasted one season.
I think that's why. I think that's why soccer, because soccer and hockey to me are very similar in terms of like the goal scoring aspect. Hockey's a little bit more physical, but in soccer, I mean, you can always see that ball. You know what's happening. So yeah, Pop, you know what? I definitely agree, and that might be a Terp Moss for me as well. I cannot see the puck when I'm trying to watch hockey, which is very, very rare. Kind of transitioning a little bit out of the NHL and going to the MLB, we just kind of wanted to do a quick little overview on what's going down in the NBA this past week or so. A few different things. Many of you guys might remember Jose Bautista, Mr. Bat Flip from the Toronto Blue Jays, possibly a future Hall of Famer. That man hit 40, 45, 50 home runs a year for about a 5 to 7 year stretch for those Blue Jays. He recently just got cut by the Atlanta Braves. I don't know if anybody knew that he was even in an Atlanta Braves uniform. And it shows how professional sports, people just fall off a cliff sometimes. He used to be, one of the top players in baseball, and he's fallen off a cliff. So Jose Bautista got cut today, which is sad to see. Also, something that I found interesting, and this is insane. It hasn't happened since the 1940s that the top 3 players on a pitching staff all have the top 3 ERAs in their respective. It happens to be the Astros this year, the American League Central. Their top 3 pitchers have the 3 best earned run averages in baseball. To me, that is insane. I think that is one of the most insane stats that I've seen in a while.
They're a force out there in Houston.
They are.
They're a young team. No World Series hangover, it looks like.
Right.
These could be the next powerhouse of the MLB.
I think they might repeat.
You think?
I don't know if they have enough power, if they have enough, offense to handle the Red Sox and the Yankees, but that pitching staff, they stole Verlander from the Tigers. Mm-hmm. And they have their bottom 2 guys are in their rotation are Dallas Keuchel, Cy Young Award winner, and Lance McCullers Jr. He's their 5th starter. He's like an all-star caliber pitcher. To me, it's insane. And the thing with the Astros and the Cubs, they're very similar. They built through the draft, and now all the people in baseball are trying to do that. And I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing teams like the Tigers actually contending, because there are so many teams in the MLB that are trying to build through the draft. And if you have so many teams, it's oversaturating the people trying to tank. And so you have these teams that are mediocre, but all these other teams are so bad. And I think that's what you're seeing with the MLB right now. You have the top 5 teams, top maybe 7 to 8 teams that are brilliantly built. Great general manager, owner, manager, all the way on down. But those other teams, they're trying to build with young talent, and there's only so much young talent out there, as we're seeing. I did see Shohei Ohtani had 9 Ks today.
Woo. On the mound or in the batter's box?
On the mound. It's pretty exceptional what he's doing. I just think I think he's great for baseball just because he's something different.
Absolutely.
Baseball needs something different. Another something different that you don't see every day that happened in baseball, just to kind of round out our quick MLB overview. A pitcher named Jordan Hicks. I don't know who you are. But he plays for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's a rookie. He threw 2 105-mile-per-hour pitches today in the same game. Oh.
TCB, you think you can hit that?
I think it would be easier for me to hit a 105-mile-per-hour fastball than that stupid softball, man.
Yeah.
I have never hit a ball like that in my life. Never. I don't know what to do.
That's crazy.
I overswing.
My mind is racing right now because I remember something I heard from another podcast. We won't mention that name because the Prattle is the only podcast.
Exactly.
But there's a theory that if someone took a year, let's say it's me, someone took a year to only focus on becoming a knuckleball pitcher, could they make it in the majors?
Absolutely not.
Want to try?
I mean, I would love to.
Wait, just your average Joe or like a professional athlete?
I mean, not the...
You're not that great of an athlete. Come on.
I think I could try.
No way.
Wes, man, these pitchers have been putting years of work, and you think you can put in one solid year and think you can be a contender?
It's knuckleballs. You can't hit those.
Wes, you were on my freshman and JV baseball teams.
I wasn't good back then.
No, how many times did you pitch? Did you ever pitch?
Yes.
I think you pitched a couple times.
Yeah. But I didn't have the knuckleball in my arsenal.
Not even
Don't
close.
disrespect R.A. Dickey like that.
Or Tim Wakefield.
Yes.
Don't disrespect the greats.
But think how few there are. You can only name 2.
Exactly.
So, I mean, when did they learn a knuckleball? It's not like they're throwing that ball 95 miles an hour either.
You're right, but they have pitches to offset it. They have a fastball.
You don't think I could throw a fastball?
No! Not
think I could
to
throw
an
a
MLB.
me? What about my 6-finger knuckle slurve?
Your 6-finger knuckle slurve would be like an ephus out there, and they would smash that sucker.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
No.
Over under 1 year before I'm in the majors.
You will never make the majors. I don't think an all-state pitcher that was an all-state pitcher, but like isn't going to pursue MLB, and then you say, I'll give you a year to throw a knuckleball, I don't think he's coming close to the majors.
Something to think about. Really makes you think.
Not at all, because the answer is clear and cut.
It's not making me or Pop think.
Westman, get out of my face.
Get out of my face. That was a poor take. Any of you guys have any more MLB news or notes to talk about before we move on?
Yes, I still haven't watched the game.
You haven't watched one? Have you watched a pitch? A live pitch?
I watched one pitch opening day.
Okay. Fair enough. The one thing that I know is the Tigers are getting screwed. Max Scherzer is leading the league in wins. Justin Verlander is leading the league in ERA, and JD Martinez is leading the league in home runs. And the Tigers are bad.
They aren't bad. They're just not as good as they were.
Yeah. Listen, when the Lions are the best Detroit franchise, I think about moving.
Dang. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah. Think about it. You always have the Red Wings. Nope, not this year.
Right.
You sometimes have the Pistons. Nope. The Lions might make the playoffs, and then you have the Tigers, who are abysmal.
I mean, the Lions didn't make the playoffs last season.
No, they didn't. But they made it the past. They played the Cowboys the previous year.
Yeah.
And then they played the Cowboys a couple years ago on a terrible pass interference
It wasn't
call.
a pass interference.
Are you kidding me, Pop?
TCB, I think you're
Caught it.
you're being sexist when you say the Lions are the best franchise in Detroit,
Let's
because
hear
you're blatantly forgetting the Detroit Shock.
They're
out
not
of the
even around
WNBA.
anymore.
They're still better than the Lions.
But they're not around
I'm
anymore.
telling you. Give them
Okay.
a year. Give them a year. They can learn.
Give them a year. If you give anybody a year to do anything, they're then the best at that thing, right?
They have potential.
They have potential. Okay.
Speaking of potential,
Speaking of potential, that was great, Wes, man.
The only person that I could see that could take a year and focus on one sport.
LeBron James.
Exactly. Literally the only person.
You're a homer.
No.
You don't think KD could be a wide receiver in the NFL?
No, God.
Come on.
that man is skin and bones.
He is.
You
Come
need
on.
A lot more than
What
skin and
corner?
bones.
What corner is going to stop KD?
I think Russell Westbrook has a better chance.
Oh, absolutely.
He's probably the second best
I
athlete
guess he
in
is,
the
what,
NBA.
6'3"? Yeah, he would be pretty good. He would
LeBron James could be the best goalie in the world if he tried.
Absolutely not. Michael Jordan was the best athlete of his generation. He couldn't get out of AA.
Picked the wrong sport. Should have went soccer.
Soccer.
Play goalie.
Soccer. America's future. Boy, let me talk about soccer.
Please don't.
No, take his microphone away, Wes. As Wes was saying, we're talking a little bit about potential. Before we get to an update of the NBA playoffs, we want to talk about these young guns coming into the NBA. And let me tell you, it's an intriguing set of draft picks coming in this year. Not to mention the fact that last year's draft class just outperformed any draft class that I can imagine since the 2003 class with LeBron. Obviously, Darko Milicic. Great pick, Pistons.
Sleep.
So, yeah, I just kind of want to start with this year's draft class, the one that just had their rookie season. I want to ask you guys, who's going to be the best player out of this draft class? Don't include Ben Simmons. Who's the best player out of this draft class? Who's going to be that guy we look down the road and, it's that guy?
That upsets me that you said don't mention Simmons, but I'm going to have to go with Donovan Mitchell because he's already, and we saw it in the playoffs. I mean, he won a playoff series. It's just unreal what he's been able to do with the Jazz, and I think he's going to build on that. Did you see what Kobe did in analyzing his game?
What a great thing Kobe is doing there. That's really cool.
I honestly love that. But I just saw how Donovan Mitchell reacted to that, and I could tell that he wants to build on his game so much. And remember the night that he lost in the playoffs, he texted his trainer saying, "When are we going?" or something like that. So he's ready to build on what he's already accomplished. What could have been the Rookie of the Year had it been Ben Simmons, not a rookie. But it's just incredible, and he's got so much potential, and I think they can really build around Donovan out there in Utah. And eventually, if he wants to move around, I think he'll be a big free agent and he can be part of some super team in the future.
For me, Jason Tatum is the best pick without a doubt. Talk about a guy who has every single piece around him to make him the most successful player. It's Jason Tatum. He has an amazing coach, Brad Stevens, amazing organization behind him that can bring in these other players to build his game, for them to build a game around him. He's going to have the most success, and Donovan Mitchell is a phenomenal player, but Jason Tatum will have the most success in the NBA.
Yeah. I have to agree with you 100%. I think Jason Tatum is right now, I think he might be even better than Donovan Mitchell right now, and I think he has a lot higher of a ceiling than Mitchell does. I think, like you said, with the people around him, I think a guy like Kyrie Irving, players like Jaylen Brown, just how they've established their almost no-star mentality like it is in San Antonio, I think that just sets them up for a great future. I think players that we cannot sleep on, though, however, are Lauri Markkanen for Chicago. And also, nobody talks about Dennis Smith Jr. He had a sneaky good rookie year, and he is quite the athlete.
Yeah. He is doing great things in Dallas, right?
In Dallas.
Dallas.
I think another sleeper would be Lonzo Ball, believe it or not.
Right.
I separate him from the Ball family. I just hate that that tarnishes his career already. But he had a very quiet 10-7-7 with the Lakers. I think he can really build on that, and there's a lot of rookie talent there that he can grow with. And I think he had a terrible shooting percentage everywhere on the floor. And I think if he humbles himself and decides to fix his shot, I think he can really improve and become a more aggressive scorer.
To be honest, Wes, Lonzo's not even the best Laker, or the best rookie Laker.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma.
People forget.
He had a phenomenal year.
Great year.
Probably, debatably, one of the best Laker. Probably the best player on the team.
I would say him and Brandon Ingram had a great year.
Yep.
He was one of the most improved guys in the league. But yeah, Kuzma, Ingram, Lonzo, if they can lure one of these big guys in, I think the Lakers have a great future.
They're young.
They're young.
Maybe that attracts LeBron. We never know.
I don't know. I don't think LeBron's going West Coast. But that is another conversation for another day, guys. Let's talk a little bit about this upcoming draft class because, like I said before, it's intriguing because we've got one of the most polished center prospects that I have personally ever seen in DeAndre Ayton. That man is a man right now. He is fully grown, a behemoth, a 7-footer, 245 pounds about. Wes, you were telling me before the show that he should be the number one pick. Do you think he's the best prospect in this draft class?
I do, and I probably do have some bias against foreign players, just because of the horror stories in the past. I think he is already so dominant, and he has so much potential still. And I think if things stay the way that they are, he's a much better fit for the Suns in the number one pick.
So do you think it's more of a situational what your team needs for the number one pick between maybe him and Doncic, or do you think give me all 30 teams in the NBA and they all will take Ayton?
It's such a tough comparison, I think, because I think Doncic is he's a leader. He will be a leader in the future. He's still very young. But I think he's someone that is the guy who has the ball in his hands, whereas DeAndre Ayton is someone who's sitting down in the post and he's getting fed instead of creating his own shot. So I think if you're trying to build something bigger than just starting out with a good, hot point guard, I think I'd go with Ayton. Just as far as talent-wise, too, I think he's better.
I think Ayton's the best overall prospect. But in today's NBA, it's not the center position anymore. You're looking for that guard that can make their own shot.
Right.
And in this draft specifically, there are only a couple players that I see. Luka Doncic, Colin Sexton, maybe Trae Young.
Yeah.
This is not a guard-heavy draft.
Mm-mm.
Last season it was. Last draft it was. This one, this is all bigs. You see DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Jaren Jackson, Mohamed Bamba. This is not what the NBA is like anymore, where it's guard-heavy. We need players to create their own shots, and we see that with Steph Curry. We see that with Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving and players like that.
Yeah, Pop, I definitely agree with you. I think that these guys, these bigs, have enough talent to maybe shift the way the NBA is playing slightly. Because a guy like DeAndre Ayton, sure, he's a center, 7-footer. The man can shoot. Nobody thinks he can shoot, but he can step out and hit a three. I think Bagley needs to work on his shot a little bit. He's an athletic freak. Mo Bamba, 7'10" and a half inch wingspan. That's not human. That just blows Rudy Gobert's NBA draft combine measurables out of the water. My personal favorite big is not a player that I've mentioned yet, and most of you guys, if you know me at all, will be very surprised by this. It's Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson, to me, I got to watch him play a lot in the Big Ten against Michigan. This man is by far the youngest projected first-round player at only 18 years of age still. But the man is so polished. He has got the wingspan. He's got the jumper. Mo Bamba does not have that offensive game Jaren Jackson does right now. I think Jaren Jackson is the most complete big in this draft class.
As a Michigan State homer, I would like to agree. Although it didn't carry as far in March.
Right.
He has tremendous upside. He looks like he could gain 30 pounds of muscle and be a freak, be another DeAndre Ayton, even better.
Right.
But in my opinion, I'm not going to take a favorite because there's a lot of bigs in this draft, and I like bigs. But my dark horse in this draft, sort of dark horse, would be Michael Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Even though people are predicting him to go 7th, that doesn't really make him much of a dark horse. But people aren't talking about him enough. He barely played. I don't think he even played a game.
He did. Yeah, he played at the first game, and then he played in the SEC tourney, and then they played one game in March Madness.
Yep, all right. And he was the best player to come in this freshman year. He was the best 2017 recruit.
Yep.
Out of high school.
Yep.
And he had back problems. He didn't really get to play much. I think he's a freak. He has a lot of potential. People aren't talking about him enough. I think he's probably the most slept-on player in this draft.
I definitely agree with you because at this time last year, we were talking about him being the number one pick. Yeah. And if he didn't get hurt, obviously we don't know how he would have performed, but the man is a freak. He's another Kevin Durant type guy that can shoot. He's 6'10". He's really skinny. He needs to gain some weight. However, I think in a mock draft that I was looking at, they have him going 8 to the Cavs. And I think this would be a perfect fit, especially if LeBron leaves, which I have a feeling if they lose this series, he will. I think he's the superstar at 8 if he were to drop there, the only superstar possibility at 8. So I also like Michael Porter Jr. as well. However, I think a bust in this year's draft, I don't think it's close. In this ESPN mock draft, they have Trae Young going 6. His game, to me, does not translate to the NBA. He's not quick enough. He is too... Okay, obviously all this is going to sound like a Steph Curry, like a Steph Curry 10 years ago, right? He's not quick enough. He shoots bad shots. He, all this other different stuff. He's not strong enough, right? But honestly, I don't think Trae Young has what it takes to be a true NBA point guard.
The difference between Trae Young and Steph Curry is Steph Curry won games. Trae Young struggled. Steph Curry made a run in the
Davidson.
People forget that. But
I'm sure Davidson's record would be similar to what Oklahoma's was this year. We can fact check that, but I'm sure Davidson also in a poor conference, probably not as great a record as you'd expect. They just got hot at the right time.
Oh, I don't know the record, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, all I remember about Steph Curry in college was watching that March Madness, and literally he was double teamed. Like, it wasn't a box and one; it was a straight double team. And that is like literally the most respect in a March Madness tournament. And he was just making these ridiculous shots. I'm like, I don't know if this guy's going to be a good pro. Obviously, I was incorrect because he's a phenomenal pro. But I don't think Trae Young has what it takes to be that guy. When I watched him, he got his assists just because people collapsed on him and he had guys wide open. And I just think his stats were a little bit misleading. However, he led the NCAA in points and assists. That is obviously very incredible.
Guys, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I want to focus in on this Cleveland pick.
Yeah.
Let's say LeBron stays.
Mm-hmm.
Or no. Do you think LeBron stays if they trade that pick away and bring in a superstar? Like a trade like that pick and let's say Tristan Thompson or one of those players that are pretty disposable?
My answer is no, because LeBron realized what happened in the debacle with the Kyrie trade. You're not guaranteed something when you're meddling with trades. I think also if you have to give up stuff to get stars to come to Cleveland, you would realize that I would have a better future somewhere else where we gather together in free agency instead of built by trades, because down the road you'll have actual draft picks that you can use to build further and build a dynasty similar to what Golden State has done with just continuing to build on top of what they already had. And I think, just to use a concrete example, if he went to Houston, he would have James Harden, Chris Paul, Clint Capella, you name it, and he wouldn't have to give up any of those guys in trades. Or if he went to Philadelphia, he'd have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Please don't go to Philly.
And Markelle Fultz and J.J. Redick if he stays, and he wouldn't have to give up anything in trade. So he has far better potential if he goes somewhere else and doesn't have to give up something to get another star and to stay in Cleveland.
Right, Pop. What do you think the Cavs? Do you think the Cavs can solve LeBron staying by doing something with that 8th pick? Because obviously they made a trade with the Nets, so that's why they have this 8th pick. So do you think they need to do something to keep LeBron? And then if so, what is it?
I think they just need to bring a star to help him at least.
So like not a young guy, like getting rid of that pick.
A young guy.
Package it.
Right. A young guy, especially under LeBron, like
Right.
you've said it, TCB, like LeBron doesn't make his players better. How is a young guy like that going to come in and learn? Yeah, you're learning from LeBron, but you're not playing.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, you're not playing.
Right.
And I think if you're the Cavs, and you want LeBron to stay, you need to trade away that pick and hopefully bring in a superstar. Maybe it's Kawhi. We never know. I think that would be so sick if they got Kawhi and LeBron. Like, that front court,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I honestly think it's a lost cause in keeping LeBron. I think if we look back to what happened with Kyrie, I think Kyrie woke up and he smelled the roses and he thought, this time next year, is LeBron going to be here? And is this Cleveland team, is this going to be on my back, this garbage team? Or could I go somewhere else in a trade?
Are you talking about Kyrie?
I'm talking about
Okay.
Kyrie, yeah. And he decided, well, I want to get traded. I don't want to be stuck here in Cleveland. Cleveland sucks. So I think it's written on the wall that LeBron is already on his way out. And I think that's honestly the best thing for LeBron and the best thing for the league. And I really, really do not see any hypothetical that could keep LeBron in Cleveland.
Right. I honestly think it almost is the best thing for the Cavs if LeBron leaves. Just because the fact that, A, like I said, obviously I feel like he makes his teammates better. And B, you can start over with whatever you need. And They were already doing that when they had Kyrie, because then they were going to have Andrew Wiggins, and I think a Kyrie-Andrew Wiggins combo was going to be very good. I think they would have come close to winning a title, maybe not won one, but I think they would be able to rebuild. Instead, they're literally on LeBron's leash. He can do whatever. He's going to take a one-year deal, and he's going to do whatever he wants, as he should. He's the best player in the world. I think he needs to go. I think it's best for everybody in any situation.
If we look back and think about the reason he came back to Cleveland in the first place, let's check the checklist. And did he win a championship? Did he come back to Cleveland and invest in Ohio? Yes, yes, and yes.
Right.
And so I think he's paid his dues to Cleveland, and it's time for him to move on.
Right.
And I think that's what he was doing and come back. He got his championship. You're welcome, Cleveland. Now I got to go. I got to go get my other rings.
Right, definitely. I don't think the Cavs fans should be angry at him if he leaves.
Well, also in the whole trade deadline scenario that happened, rebuilding the team basically in a day, you could tell that's kind of a last-ditch effort to get this team to a championship for the last year that they have LeBron. I think the organization realizes the time is up. We got to move on and start rebuilding. And I think Porter is a good pick to do that.
I think what the Cavs need to do is, when LeBron leaves, they just need to gut out the whole team. Just why do you need Kevin Love there then? Just trade him away. Get picks. Yeah. What about all the other guys they just acquired? They're not really useful to the team anymore.
Right.
Just try to. I think building through the draft from now on is just what the Cavs are going to need to do. Hopefully, find that big star. Maybe it's Michael Porter Jr. Maybe it's someone later in different drafts. And that's how they're going to turn this around. The post LeBron.
Right.
Because wherever LeBron leaves, like the organization's like in shambles. Like we saw that with the Heat. Even though they made the playoffs this year, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But still, like losing a player like that, you have to bounce back. It's hard to bounce back, and I think that's the best way. You have to bounce back.
Pop, I definitely agree with you because LeBron was, for all intents and purposes, the GM. He put all those players there for him,
Yep.
So they're not going to be a team that can do anything without him, and then it's just a lot of salary, like you said, with Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson's on a huge contract, J.R. Smith. All these guys are put into place for LeBron's sake. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see this offseason with guys like Kawhi and like LeBron to see where they end up. It'll be definitely very interesting, and I can't wait. However, for the playoffs, we are still in it. Obviously, the Western playoffs. Talking playoffs. That's right, Jim Morris Sr. But yes, we're in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, guys. I want to start with the Eastern Conference because I really, really, really don't want the Cavs to win. Really don't want them to win. Please.
CCP, it's going to happen.
I feel like the Cavs are going to win.
All right, my first reaction to the game, like I came home after hanging out with some friends, and I saw the score. I'm like, this is just like the NBA Finals in 2016. Every game was a blowout except for Game 7.
Right.
I feel like this is going to happen all over again. It's just history repeating itself. Don't get me wrong, that Game 7 was phenomenal. Like,
right, it was.
I'll never forget that.
Right, that was crazy.
But LeBron's been here before. I don't think he's worried. I'm not worried because he just showed me why I'm not worried. He won by 30 last night.
I don't think anybody was surprised by the outcome of the game, especially in the queue, for sure. Westman?
Well, it was finally a really complete game by the Cavs as a team. They finally played as a team, and you could see that in the schemes and how LeBron distributed the ball. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players other than LeBron that had double digits in points, and Larry Nance had 8, and Jordan Clarkson had 9. So if you look at that, just a complete night and day between the away games in Boston and the home game in the Q. So I think I'm not a fan of just shock reactions to this big blowout at home, but I really think it's in the Cavs' hands. They've got the momentum. They've got their team game down, and I think they can really take that eventually back to Boston in Game 5 and start actually competing in those games.
Right. The one thing that I'm interested to see coming up is the fact that the Celtics have yet to lose at home in this playoffs. They have yet to lose, and they're 1-5 on the road, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals up 2-1. That is crazy. So obviously, I would not be surprised if at the Q once again the Cavaliers handle business. But what I'll be really interested to see is Game 5, the Cavs versus Celtics in Boston. If the Cavs can win that first game, Game 5, then I see them winning that series. However, if they can't do it, I see the Brad Stevens-led, no, not any player-led, the Brad Stevens-led, the organization-led, the team of the Boston Celtics beating LeBron. And that is why I personally want the Celtics to win, because they play a team brand of basketball, unlike what we're seeing in today's NBA at all. Today's NBA, iso ball. Boston Celtics, look at that ball movement that they possess. That is why I love the Boston Celtics, and that is why I do not like the Cavs, especially as a basketball coach, because that's what I tell my team. We got to play as a team. Can't ISO, can't have a hero. Obviously, LeBron is the best player on the planet. If I had LeBron on my team, maybe I'd do a hero ball a little bit more. But that's why I'm hoping that the Celtics can pull this one out. So obviously you two are rooting for the Cavs, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm rooting for LeBron.
Okay.
Because I think it's good for basketball, and I think that'd be a much more fun series with Golden State. But also, it's just like, come on, LeBron, you have to be in the finals again. What are you doing?
8 years in a row, you got to.
Yeah, I'm just used to it, and it's honestly the best basketball. So I don't see why you have a problem with it.
Well, I mean, it's not that I have a problem with LeBron being in the finals necessarily. It's not that, but it's just I like the team aspect better. And I think I would love to see the Celtics versus the Warriors or even the Rockets, because I think the Celtics could give them a run for their money. I really do. I think that they are a better team than we think. And if they were to have their stars there, which Jason Tatum is a star, don't get me wrong, but if they were to have Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, I think they would be maybe the favorites for the NBA Finals championship besides the Warriors, as I said, who would beat the Dream Team, right, Wes?
Well,
No, TCB, I actually mentioned that to my dad. That you said
your dad was
that
probably yelled at me.
blasphemous thing. Oh, my goodness. He looked at me. He's like, okay, that's a little bit stretched. He loves the Warriors.
Right, yeah.
I told him that. He's like, dude, come on. No. Toby, I can't believe, I still can't believe that you said that.
And listen, one of it was for a hot take, and the other one, there is a glimmer of the truth. In today's NBA, I think the Warriors, it would be a very, very good series. To stay with the Warriors, they obviously are playing at the Oracle tonight versus your Houston Rockets, Pop. And I was honestly surprised that the Rockets came back and played a very complete game too. Harden, Chris Paul had a great game. And I was like, do the Rockets have a chance? And I still don't think so. As we're recording right now, the Warriors are up 19 at the Oracle. Pop, do you think that it looks like this game is over? Do you think that the Rockets can beat the Warriors?
Yeah, we saw game 2. We saw
in a 7-game series.
Everything we talked about.
Yeah.
That had to happen.
Yeah, it happened. It did.
And why can't it happen more than
for one game?
Why can't it happen more than 3 times from now?
Because everything has to happen perfectly.
And it has to be at Houston.
They have home court advantage.
They do have home court advantage, but they already lost one. They already lost the game at their home court.
They can steal one at Oracle.
Nah, I don't think they're going to.
I don't think that's possible, and that's the problem. Problem when Golden State got this early game, they have 3 more games at Golden State, so it's like I don't think they can pull that off at Golden State.
I'm going to say this now. After the game 4, and if the series is tied 2-2,
yeah,
it's Rockets are going to win.
It's a best 2 out of 3 at that point. So then you're like, okay, But then you're right. The Rockets have home court advantage at that point. My problem is I just don't see the Rockets being able to beat the Warriors with that firepower, with that crowd. That whole crowd is bandwagon fans since 2015. Like, that's just the truth. But they are so loud.
So loud.
It is an insane atmosphere. All the yellow. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And TCB, what I want to know is, when is Steph Curry going to wake up? And if you may, give me a stat line on that.
Right. So Steph's got 26 points tonight.
26 points. So he's back, folks.
He's back.
And that's the catalyst, I think. That's what turns Golden State into playoff Golden State and into the 73-win Golden State is Steph Curry. It's really just like unreal that some things that he pulls off, and I don't think Houston can contend with that kind of play.
Right, and I mean Kevin Durant's always going to get his, and Klay Thompson's going to hit a couple shots, but if Steph Curry is Steph Curry, then like you said, Wes, that's when it's absolutely over for anybody facing the Warriors.
We'll see. He's shown in the playoffs in the past that he hasn't been able to perform.
I know.
2016 finals. These past
still
two
had
games.
He's been hurt.
Little nagging injuries.
Oh my goodness! Don't even give me that.
Yes.
His ankles are bad. His ankles are actually really bad.
That's the number one excuse for Steph Curry.
You're right.
When he's
it's
a
valid.
shooter.
It's valid.
No, it's a very valid excuse, because when you're a pure shooter, one small hiccup in your shot can throw off your whole game, and then it's just a downhill thing for him. So
But it's never that he played bad. It's always that he's hurt. It always seems like that's the problem.
No, he has played bad. He has played bad.
LeBron gets that crap too. He gets every excuse in the book.
LeBron has never been hurt in his career.
No, not. It's either officiating. It's never LeBron.
Cramps.
Or cramps, right? Or it's just this is the good one for the past 3 years. Oh, his team's too bad. That's why LeBron has never played a bad game in his career, according to the media. That's the truth. That is the truth.
He's played a couple. I could probably name 4
out of his 1,000-game career.
But no, I don't. I want to just debate that real quick. You said, "Oh, he always just has a bad team." Well, let's look at this most recent game. His team decided to show up, and then it's a blowout.
No,
Maybe if he has a team, maybe it works out for him.
well, he can't. He is the guy with the ball in his hands. He is the quarterback, the point guard. He is the shortstop of the infield. He is the guy. He makes his teammates run. Obviously, if they don't hit open shots, they don't hit open shots, and that's what they did in Game 3. They need to hit open shots, but he needs to be LeBron. And honestly, I think he is more of a tribute to how his teammates play than his teammates.
You want him to score all 115?
No, I don't. But I need him to be the coach on the floor that he.
You want him
he
to
is.
shoot for JR?
No, I don't want him to shoot for JR, but I want him to get him the ball so he can hit a shot.
And then it started happening this game, and then it's still LeBron's fault.
No, I don't think it's LeBron's fault. I'm not saying it's LeBron's fault. I'm not saying the Cavs played a great game. They played a perfect game. That's why they won by 30.
They played their first complete game in probably 20 games.
Right, a perfect game. It's not going to happen again. You think the way they shot that ball is going to happen again?
It's not like his teammates each scored 20. They scored 12.
Right, and all of them
That's
did.
what they needed.
All of them scored 12.
There's one LeBron.
Right.
So there has to be 5 players that score at least 10.
No, you're right. But most of the time they have guys that score at least 10, except when they were going through this little streak, because he was not distributing like he was supposed to.
Don't give me that.
Okay, screw it.
He still had the 12 assists.
Screw it.
Every game.
Listen. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. Stats can be very misleading. However, we need to stay on LeBron James because we have our very first PP poll.
PP poll.
And we have to do a big shout out to Aaron next door because we were like, okay, we need to come up with an alliteration for this. PP, and he's like, well, you could do the PP poll. Well, that's great. We're gonna go with the PP poll, and on Instagram, we have a newly updated Instagram page. It is called the Prattle now instead of Prattle_TCB. We're making moves. And I posted a picture on there asking a question out to all of you guys. Who the best, or if LeBron James is the GOAT, the greatest player of all time. And I've got comments on other people's pictures, on our picture, and I just want to share with a couple of their responses with you guys right now. And we're just going to talk about it a little bit, and this is called the PP Poll, our new segment. So, on the Prattle, follow it on Instagram, our regional guest, or one of our guests, our one-time guest, BRit17, Ben, said yes. So he thinks that he is the GOAT. Not much to go by there. Mac Robertson appeared on the show. He said, by far the greatest basketball player and athlete to ever walk on this planet. Now, that is incorrect. Jesse Owens is the best athlete to ever walk this planet. I don't think that's up for debate. He broke 8 world records in one day.
When was the day?
Like 1940.
But have since been broken.
I think all of them have been broken.
So.
But still, no.
At the time.
At the time.
Michael Phelps, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron is the best athlete of all time.
Best athlete to play basketball ever.
That, I think.
Well, you can be an incredible athlete and not be a good basketball player.
Definitely. Russell Westbrook.
That's why he's the greatest.
Russell Westbrook. Facts.
That's why he's the greatest, because he combines the great athleticism with the amazing basketball talent. You know what? I can understand that, because he is he's the most athletic specimen freak that there's ever been in the NBA, and he combines it with amazing basketball talent. So I agree. A guy named JDog84, dude, I don't know who you are, but he said, although I have no facts to back this up because it is my opinion only, no, he is not the best of anything. I have no idea what that means, but he does not think that LeBron is the best. Coovey24, that's Tice Vancouver, says, best player of this era, yes, but it's hard to compare different players with different styles of play from different eras. What do you guys think about that?
That's kind of a cop-out. I think there has to be one.
Oh, no, there doesn't have to be one.
No, there has to be one.
Okay. And I think that is very fair, Tice. But I think that I think Michael Jordan's the best ever. I never watched him play. I was talking with my dad before earlier, and he said, I hated Michael Jordan because he beat the Pistons, right? That's why he hated Michael Jordan. However, he does think Michael Jordan was the best player ever, just because what he could do night in, night out, scoring the basketball. I think that's the difference, the greatest of all time and the greatest scorer of all time. I think Michael Jordan's the greatest scorer of all time.
Kareem.
Oh, my bad. Never mind. Kareem is my favorite player of all time.
TCB can't talk bad about Kareem.
I cannot talk bad about Kareem. He's my favorite player of all time. He has the most
points.
The most points and the most unstoppable move of all time.
Hey, when LeBron beats that point total,
he won't.
He will.
He won't.
When he does,
okay,
will you say LeBron's the best? Or
no.
What about LeBron being your favorite player?
LeBron being my favorite player? No. The reason Kareem is my favorite player is not because he has the most points. It's just because how he did it. I love the big man. I love the unstoppable move. He could not be stopped. Your opponent knows what you're going to do every time.
Yeah.
And nobody could stop.
Can't get stopped.
Right.
You literally just described LeBron James to me.
No way.
No. LeBron
What, drive right for a layup every time?
That's what you just said.
No. Now, this was one of my most intriguing comments that I got, and
I really like this one.
Which one are you talking about?
Azito?
No.
76?
No,
Azito,
you read it.
I want to share that.
You read it, yep.
Azito76 said, not a chance. A player should only be evaluated after his career is over. Is LeBron leading in statistics? Nope. Some of them he is.
Right.
But I think that is very interesting. But that makes me think, how are we debating this? MJ's career is over, obviously. How are we debating this? Why is LeBron in the question? Is he really that good and his career isn't even over yet? So it's only going to get better.
Right. Well, I mean, most people 15 years in their career is all but over.
Most people you would expect at year 10 that they've peaked already, but at year 15, we're not sure.
Yeah. I think LeBron is the greatest player for the longevity, but I don't think he hasn't really had a peak, you know? So, like, I think at MJ's peak, he was better than LeBron at his peak. Do you think that's fair?
I can see that. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I really don't know. And I hate picking someone over someone who I never got to watch play.
Right, yeah.
And what I think is so attractive about Michael Jordan and his game is how competitive he was and just how tenacious and just so aggressive at scoring the basketball and just competing and overall winning in basketball. I think LeBron is more like super smart at what he does and just kind of conniving, like scientific almost.
Well, yeah, his body, just how he gets
surgeon.
his body to be like that is crazy. For sure.
And his memory, remember?
Yeah, he's done that a few times. He's just showing off now.
Hey.
It's pretty impressive, though.
What if he's
impressive.
LeBron's a robot?
He might be. Because he looks like he did when he entered the NBA. Like, his face, like, he doesn't look like he's aged, to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like, is he actually aging? Probably not.
Backwards. Benjamin Button.
Yeah, it could be some Benjamin.
Year 15, one of his bests.
It has been one of his best. I'm going to end this little PP poll. Thanks for everybody, by the way, for commenting. We will do a question of the day every day prior to an episode that we're going to record, just to get you guys talking and so we can have some stuff on the pod. Make sure you listen to get your voice heard. Yeah, Pop?
Yeah. If you guys want to just shoot us questions whenever, don't use the hashtag
Most definitely.
PP poll.
PP poll.
And send us your questions. That'd be sweet. That's a good way to.
That's 3 P's. OLL.
Yes.
Well done. I love that, Pop. Yeah, hashtag PP poll, and we will definitely answer your questions. We will get to it, as many as we can. I'm going to end with this. This is Shane_Coleman6, and I got into it a little bit with this guy. He said, at the Prattle, LeBron is not the GOAT, MJ is. MJ led the league in scoring 10 times. LeBron, once. MJ has 38 40-point games in the playoffs. LeBron has 22 in 46 more games. MJ has scored only 20 points in the playoffs only 6 times in his career. LeBron 8 times in just the finals, not even counting other playoff games. And MJ has never scored under 20 in the finals. Oh, yeah. And 6 for 6 is greater than 3 for 5, which 3 for 5 is not right. And 6 for 6 is right. But MJ is the GOAT. However, the man only mentioned scoring stats. Literally only scoring stats for his entire thing, and I fact-checked them, and like half of them were freaking wrong. Okay, so Shane, I thank you for commenting, okay? I'm not blasting you here. However, when we're talking about the greatest player of all time, we're not talking about the guy that scores the most points, Kareem, and we're not talking about the guy that scores the most in the playoffs, which is definitely Michael Jordan.
Or the guy with the most titles.
Or the guy with the most titles, though I do think that counts for more than... I don't think it's the determining factor, but I think you need to include it in the package.
Who's the guy who has 10?
Bill Russell.
Exactly.
He's got 11, I think. Yeah. But that was when there was 6 teams in the NBA. So that's a little bit sketchy. But to go with that, like I said, you can't just go off of scoring statistics. LeBron brings so much more to the table, as do so many more players that we need to include. What I think we should do sometime is I would like to somehow create a list, a top 10 list, and all of us create a list of who we think are the best players ever. I think that'd be sweet to be able to debate a little bit further.
Coming soon.
That's right. Coming soon, maybe a top 10 NBA players of all time. But guys, like I said, thank you so much for commenting, for interacting with us on social media. We're striving to make our best content. As you can tell by listening, this was our best episode yet, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Best app yet. So guys, you guys have anything else before we sign off?
PPs, shout us out. Spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your dog.
Right.
We're trying to go big.
That's right.
And you're how it happens. So we love you, PPs. Thank you.
Right. Pop, you got anything?
Stay in tune for a live episode.
Oh,
Coming soon.
live
A
app.
lot of promises.
Right. Live app coming soon. A lot of big things coming soon, guys. So like Wes was saying, keep it going. We've got a lot of people listening. We want more. And I know that you guys love it, and I know we've gotten lots of feedback, positive feedback, negative feedback. We're all trying to make you guys the best, for you guys, the best sports talk experience that we can. So like I said, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will drop this as soon as we possibly can, and we will get another one out to you soon. And in the meantime, go Celtics, boys, right? Go Celts.
Heck no.
Go Cavs, go Warriors.
Go Warriors, right, Pop?
No. Go Rockets, go Cavs.
Go
All
Golden
right.
Knights.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Adios.